Morning, everybody. Welcome to the August office hours. Almost September. Oh my gosh, where did August go? I'm pretty sure I said the same thing in July. Um, but yikes, it's almost Labor Day, like around the corner. So good morning and welcome to geography today. We're going to talk about, we've talked about this a little bit before, but this is going to be kind of a mix of like a little bit of how to use it, but more to think about how you should be using it for your institutions and what's the best way to note things. And I kind of want to look at it from the user's point of view. If you're a user going in and looking for something in particular. So we're starting in the public portal. And I'm actually going to start by how you get to looking at the geography portion, the map version on the portal, and a couple pitfalls with that. So I'm going to take one of our search terms off of the quick search down here. We'll go with boat. Just funny because that's one of the things I searched for this morning. So you'll get all of the results of everything, something from the archives, people and organizations, and then objects. And we're going to focus on objects for this part. We want to go to the full results. And you'll notice up in the, so you'll see we have 289 object results. Some have images, some don't. You'll notice up in the top right corner, some of the ways of viewing the results. So this is the light box, the grid. So you're seeing anything with pictures. You also get the more of like the list or full view. It's kind of the equivalent of the full view in the back end with, so you can see the images, you get a little bit more information, but not much necessarily. And you don't get like the full little pop-up of things like you do in the other one. If you go into that grid and you go into something and it kind of makes it bigger if it's too small for the thumbnail. So if there's something that's like really tall, you can skim over it and see the thing. And then the farthest one is the little globe. So the little globe will get you to the map view. Has pluses and minuses at the bottom to zoom in and out. You can also scroll in and out if you hit the control key and just if you have a scroll button on your mouse. So this is first, we're going to talk about a couple of the pitfalls of some of the geography parts. So there's two ways to do geography. So we're going to look at this for a second and keep this in mind. I'm going to hop over to the sandbox for a second. So there's two ways to note geography. So if we'll just go into a random object. Let me just do light box, see if there's anything with an image that might be useful. Actually, let me go to filter. I'm going to say has media. There's 106. Oh, we'll use these because I know where this is. So if we go into this image that has nothing to do with the title, it's just one of the images that I threw up ages ago. So there's two ways of noting geography. So there's a whole page under the module of geography here with a map. So you can pinpoint certain things or locate the thing on a map. Add geographic notes down here saying it was built here, made here, reference to, something like that. You can put things, put like a latitude, longitude into this down here if you have that for some reason. Like we had in Fairfield from the last archaeological dig that we did, we have lat and long from their records. So that can go right in there and it'll find the spot. And you can also at the top here, start searching for the actual place name and it will find it using, I believe it just goes through Google Maps. So if I put in St. Louis, this one you do, it doesn't automatically do it. You do have to hit the little arrow. So I'm going to do full St. Louis. And it'll pop right up on the map. It doesn't offer you options. It'll give you this. So sometimes you may need to change your search a little bit. So I'm just zooming out to make sure that that's, yep, that's totally where we want to be. You could put a whole circle around St. Louis if it was really general, because we know where this is. You can go and drop a pin on this. I recommend trying to drop the pin or make a small search thing whenever you can versus covering like the entire state. And I'll talk about that more when we go back to the portal. In theory, I know the arch is around here somewhere, and I don't know if it's marked on here. I'm actually wondering. I don't think it's on there as the arch. So for the sake of argument, we will drop a circle on this one because I don't know exactly where it is, and it's not showing up on this map. So you can put a pin with this little dot here and just drop it, and that'll mark that very particular spot. We're going to cancel that, and we're going to do a circle. And you start in one spot and just kind of pull it out, and that'll be inclusive of that area. If you are a little bit off and you're like, oh no, I'm pretty sure that it's inclusive of this area, you can make sure that the hand is on it. Oop. It's very touchy. So if the hand is on it and you left click, it'll make a fist. Oh, it's grabbing the whole map. But you can edit. There we go, that's better. Click the edit button on the left. Click cancel, undo changes, but you can drag the handles or markers to edit the features. So we're going to drag that middle one to drag the whole circle. You could, in theory, move it and make it bigger. We just wanted to move it down river a little bit and then click save from there. If you decided that I don't want to do this, I do actually know that it's right in this exact spot, you can hit the little trash can and it'll get rid of it. And see, you can look down here and see where the lat and long of it is. And what it includes, it's the little inclusive of from here to here kind of thing. So when you're on the portal side, if you went in and made, let me go to one of the other ones for kicks. So if you went in New York City strap hanger, sure, that's kind of cool. And go to geography. If you decided you're like, oh, it says New York something, and you go and mark like, I don't know, it's like this whole part of the state. When you go in and look at this, you're going to end up on the portal side of things with something that's inclusive of the whole thing. These black lines on the outside are just saying that somebody marked the entire US as being the source of something. Scroll on a little bit, and you can see like there's a couple lines on here. If you are very carefully like move the mouse up, it'll click on it. This is something I need to talk to Seth about, because normally you'll see the record here and see that it's what the thing is that you're clicking on. So right now it's semi-useless not being able to do that. One thing I am going to do is do the asterisk overall search on the portal and go to all the objects, all 44,000. And now when you look at the map too, you notice that somebody's been putting, or quite a few people, who knows, has been putting the whole United States in this. This is not really useful when trying to filter something down. For one thing, you're not going to be able to click on each one of these individual lines to be able to see something. Once you get, if you have drops, pinpointed drops somewhere, like this is a good example if we'll go into Missouri, because we had just dropped that pin. As you zoom into things, it kind of lessens the numbers. So within this area, there's 10 records. This is off of, 19 being Missouri. As you zoom in, it splits out by location. So if we go further into St. Louis, now we've got something up there. We've got 9. It'll get closer and closer to Oh, there's a gateway arch, where we have records. And there's one specifically here. Again, should be showing up the image and a title. And you'll be able to go from there. And this is on the portal, which we just did that pin and that drop in the sandbox, which is not connected to the portal. So that's why we're not seeing our mark that we had. But now I know I could change it if I wanted, because now I know where it is. So you can see going in and zooming in, it's really useful to know really specifically where things are. When you're going all the way out, drawing something around the whole country is not great. But you still want to note that it's something from the US as opposed to Syria or somewhere in Europe, being able to split it out a little bit. This is where the filter by on the right-hand side comes in useful. These are all subject headings. Down at the bottom, we've got subject headings, Library of Congress names, subjects, and we've also got places. This links to the georeference or the geography subject heading under subjects. So everything's listed with, and can you guys see that? Because it's really small on my screen, so I don't know if it's showing up on sharing.
Yeah, can see it.
Okay. So as you scroll down, you can see that everything's listed. There's 15 references to Bethel, 6 references to Beverly, and as you go down, 39 to Bridgeport. So you can click on that to go to those references, or once you get to the bottom, it'll say add more, and it'll give you like an alphabetical list. So if you're like, oh, I actually wanted to get down to West Haven, if there is anything, you can click on this W and go alphabetically to see if you can find the thing that you're looking for, however somebody entered it under the subjects. So do I have any West? Somebody or others? I'll go West Woodstock. Oops. And we'll change our view too. So it's not, because that's not in the map view that it was posted, it's in the other one. It's still filtering out. So now we just went to the regular thumbnail view. So this gentleman has something to do with that. Died in Norwich. He lived in West Woodstock. There we go. So somebody entered that as a reference, which is great. So let me go back for a second. And go back to the map view. I want to know what's up here. So when you're debating how you want to mark the geography for something, usually it's going to be for something like place of origin, which is really useful, which I imagine what a lot of this is. Because even though we're on Connecticut collections, you're still going to want to note that something is actually from Connecticut. And again, there's so many in here in Connecticut, this is not going to be useful to anybody being able to click on this and see what the thing is. Yeah, I don't even know that I have the link for that right now, but that's okay. We'll fix that. But even if that was working, it's not going to really do you a lot of good doing it this way and marking off whole entire things. If we go in further, so at that point, if you just want to denote that something is from Connecticut, I'm going to suggest using the subject headings, and we'll hop over that in a little bit. Now I went over too far. Like I can't find Fairfield on a map. So in Fairfield, I did have an intern, as I've probably told you guys, that was going through and marking locations for photos and things, so you could see where exactly something was. And we marked, she was, very specific when we had a lot of things. So if you go to these locations, you'll go and see like where the thing is. There's a lot of things that are Old Town Hall. But be nice if we could see it. Should be able to link right to that, but it'll put you on a map to see where things are. Like in field burying ground. We have a couple markers along the road next to the museum, all of these things. Something like this is super useful when you are, well, actually, let me go into Fairfield's actual instance. This is very useful for particularly images, whether it be prints, drawings, photographs. If you have something that you can compare with either modern day or other similar images, it's really useful for on the map to do that really exact thing. So to view that on your own instance, I'm just going full results. We're in Fairfield. I'm going to go full results, and then you'll have your stuff on the left-hand column over here where your search, show where you are, set tools, the different searches. There's also visualize. So if you click on visualize, it'll look like a drop down, but there's only one choice of just map and hit that little arrow over. And it may take a second if there's a lot. Oh, there we go. I don't know why we did that. That's going to go away. And apparently we also did Connecticut. That's also going to go away. Here's some bigger circles on things, some larger circles for the counties, and then getting into all of our little individual things. So in theory, it should look like this on the portal. So you have the group of people that are like on the beaches, basically. And you can click on the thing and should be able to go to the record. And it will not stay open when you go do this. And I think because we have so many, it takes a second for the map to open. So we have things that show up from around the country. We have things that you would think this might be a error in something, because we did a lot of stuff from the archaeological dig. And they had actually put some things as their source was like over in Europe, because there were a couple coins and things found. So I don't know if they'll, nope, not the lantern slides. Probably from here. Yeah. I thought it had something from like a coin or something. But even still, it'll show you like what's related to it. So it's legit that there's things over in that part of the country. Get back to the green. Fairfield's green. And you can, of course, filter down from this in your own system too, unless you are looking for somewhere to see like how many images do we have in this area. Beach Club. It's hard to see once you get so many like giant circles on there too. I want to do town hall. Oh, I don't have pictures of this in there. Eek. It's terrible. You can do a picture of our old academy that used to be in this spot and has since moved across the green. So that's a really interesting thing to do for buildings that move too, is you can show it in its old location and show it in its current location as well, or like a comparison. So we have Old Academy here. And if you go into geography, you'll see that we're marking it on this where it used to be. That building has been moved to this spot. So that's a good thing to note in geographic notes too, and just say something like old location previous to move in whatever year. Okay. Let me go back to this again. So using it for things like this where you can really pinpoint a location is great, especially to see that, oh, I'm facing this way on this street looking at this house, and I can also see it over here. When you want to go to more inclusive or more like overall general things, this is why we do places in here and do, oh, we've already did Fairfield here. So you can see something like this that's more general and not have to put the entire state in. And I don't even know that anybody's actually put in, oh yeah, Connecticut. So we have 22 that people have listed as Connecticut. So rather than try to draw something around the entire state, they put in a subject heading of Connecticut. So they did both apparently. And we've also got some things that have been pinpointed as well. A lot of the times you can do both, but it really depends on what it is. So if I'm putting in the subject heading of Connecticut, I don't feel the need to draw around the state, because again, you'd have to go through all 22. It's probably like 19 or 18 or 19 of the squares. It's not really going to be helpful to somebody. So if we're in an image, let me see if I can find a photo of something. So I'm just going into everything in my collection. I'm going to filter it by has media. And then I don't think I have a geography report, but let's look. I do not, because you could have a geography report or something that has what it is next to it, so you could tell and put in if it's got something from the geography page or a geography heading and kind of sort it out through that way if you really wanted to do some work on it. I'm going to go to thumbnails though to do an example. Trying to find something that I can do off the top of my head. I'm down there. Old Academy School, we just did that one and we can use that as an example. So I've got Old Academy School. She's probably put in wherever this is. Yeah, so she dropped the pin here right where it is, but we also want to look at subjects to see if this is listed here as well. And we have listed Library of Congress name authority file, Fairfield's in there. There's also the Getty geographic names. And I think we've definitely talked about this before. When you go in, same as any of these other subject headings, start typing the name of the place. So if we were doing, just adding Hartford, I won't save this in here, and it'll start giving you a list of things. So if I was putting in Hartford, I have a huge list, but I'm going to put in, I know the whole county is Hartford as well. So I'm going to do Hartford, comma, Hartford, and see if it sorts it down a little bit. And it's still kind of hard to go through and find sometimes. Getty is very specific with a lot of things, which is great, and it's great for this use. It does get you really have to look through stuff. For things that, oh, we'll put in Connecticut. Let's see if it'll find the whole thing. No matches. Really interesting. This is actually funny because it was going to go on and give you the example of Fairfield, because if I look for Fairfield, it doesn't find it. So the other way to get around this sometimes, and I'm not sure if, I think this is on Getty's end, not our end, is I have a shortcut list of the codes, because if you go into Getty's page that I may or may not have, go to this one and see if I can back out to search tools and databases. Oops. And I think this is referenced in the manual of like what the URL is for this. I have this bookmarked in my work computer and I have notes for myself. So Getty Thesaurus of Geographic Names. And if I put in, we'll keep with that Hartford example. And this is just using the search, but I can show you how to go through the browse as well. it'll give you a little bit of everything. And a lot of these are in like Hartford County or some other relation to Hartford. So it may not be exactly what you want, but once you're in something, so East Hartford, not Washington State, but Connecticut, you can go into the hierarchy, go back and kind of back up to go into Hartford County. And then it gives you a list of all the things in Hartford County that it has a listing for. So if you'll scroll down enough, you've got Hartford as inhabited place. Yep, that's what we want. And it'll give you an ID number. So this is really useful for things that you hit a lot, like Fairfield won't come up and Southport doesn't come up near me. So I've got that written down somewhere so I can just put the number in. So you can copy that, go back to your record, paste it in, and it'll pull up what you want. Put that there and save it, and now it'll be in there. Same thing with Fairfield. I'm gonna go back to the other one for a second, but I'm just giving you the Fairfield example. I've looked down this list 8 million times, and Fairfield, Connecticut just does not show up unless I put that. And it's not in alphabetical order, which is really, really annoying. And there's no real way to sort it. So you kind of have to go through and look through everything, which is why it's just easier for me anyway to go over to the Getty actual page and copy the code. Back to Getty for 1 second. So if you're doing a new search and you want to look something up, like some word is not at all appearing and it's driving you crazy, you can do like a browse, or not the whole, browse the hierarchies. It starts globally, content, continent, country, and goes further from there. So if you're looking at, we're in the world, we want, I think it's under North America. One of them gets wonky. There we go. North and Central America. It's kind of interesting to look through, honestly. So we're going to expand this little triangle, this little hierarchy. And now we've got everything under that. So we're going to look for the United States. United States nation. We're going to go right to that little triangle because we know we want to go farther down. And then it does not break into regions. Like it doesn't break into like New England kind of thing. My old museum, we had our own hierarchy that we established, and we did break it down into New England because we had several items in the collection that we knew they were from New England. We just didn't know where. Getty does not break down like that. So you just go straight into the state, and then it'll break it down into different places, like it'll go reservoirs, counties, inhabited places. So you go into your county that you want, Fairfield County, and it's got all the little bits and pieces in there. Aspetuck is an inhabited place, Bear Rock Pond is a reservoir, and all of those. Sometimes it'll have the old names as well. But you don't necessarily see things like Black Rock as a regional thing is not in there. Black Rock Entrance Channel as a canal is in there, but not Black Rock, the inhabited place, because it's kind of a nickname. But we do want to find Fairfield. We do exist. And that's where I get the ID from that. It also will give you kind of interesting things down here too about where the other references to a place are. So the one thing you do want to be careful as you're going through looking for places, and this is also as you pull things up on that search on from our page, is what the thing is. So don't just assume if you're looking for an inhabited place, don't click on the first thing and accidentally click like a reservoir or a river or something like that. Just make sure you have the right thing that relates to what you're looking for. Okay. So that's back in the sandbox. I'm actually going to get rid of that. And you can clear everything. If you've put a couple things in there, which there's no reason you can't, you could put place of use and place of origin if you really wanted to on the map. Again, if it's really pinpointed, because something like this isn't going to really do as much good. And we've got so many general ones that I'm looking at from our page. I'm going to go in and clear a lot of those and change a lot of those up because it's not anything that's really useful because it's such a broad search. So if you're using the circle, let me edit that first. Really make sure like using it in that St. Louis Arch example isn't too bad because you're really in a narrow scope. But using it for like, oh, it's the whole entire city is not really helpful. It's like all of Manhattan, not really helpful. I cancel that and I'm just gonna trash that, clear all, and then save, of course. So the first things to ask yourselves when going through are, what information do you want to get out of this? Because this is something that you could also put in a description. If you're going through like this, strap hangers from a New York City subway that was given, this is in the sandbox again. So you're getting a random thing. So saying New York City in the description is great. So if you did a keyword search, it would probably show up. But then how do you add it in? You don't know exactly where this strap was used other than that it was in the city. So using the geography and using the map isn't really going to be as helpful as using the subjects and going into Getty's geographic names to TGN. Library of Congress subject headings, like I said, can be useful, but sometimes that's less of a geography thing and more of it talks about the town of Fairfield and has related to it. It kind of works. I'm always a proponent of putting more subjects in than you would think you would need because it just makes your thing more findable. See what this comes up with for New York City, actually. I'm curious. Just New York, New York. Sure, inhabited places. And Manhattan does not come up. Tell me if I spelled that wrong. I don't think I did. So now there's only Manhattan Lake, Florida, Manhattan Creek, Boise, Idaho. So now I'm curious. I'm going to go back to actual TGN. Okay. Oh, so this is still coming up Florida and Idaho.
It may be AN.
Oh, that's what I'm wondering.
I think, but don't quote me on that.
That was going to be my next question. Is now I think I am spelling it wrong. That's much better. You have many more options. So here we've got Manhattan, New York State, New York City. I did check my spelling before I got to that part. And then you can actually narrow it down even in the subjects to Central Park, Greenwich Village, all of that. Yeah. Oop. Don't hit enter when you're looking stuff up. I know you all know this, but sometimes it's so just force of habit. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Manhattan is a borough. There's probably inhabited places in there as well. Don't know. That depends on how far you want to go with some stuff. But just noting that as a borough is probably fine. So then when somebody comes onto the portal, I'm just going to do a free search to just for pics. Again, that's in the sandbox. It's not going to connect to the portal, but I'm just curious what's on here. A lot of things from the city. Wilton has some granite. Mattatuck's got a camera. That's cool. Let's go full results. So because we were on the map before, we're still showing up on the map. And a lot of folks have put more specific locations in here, which is great. So you can go right to where they've marked it as being on the Battery or the financial district, anything like that. But that's more of an idea of how that stuff's coming through. And you'd be able to click right where it is and see the image. I was trying to go, Minnesota's version has this as well, and I was trying to find some stuff on there, but I didn't get far enough along to get like an actual example. But use your imaginations and pretend the images are showing up the same way that they do kind of in our map, on our instances. I wonder what happens if we do Google. Oh, I think I clicked on something else. We're gonna skip that. Yeah, okay. So back in the instance. So thinking about how somebody wants to find something and view something and what kind of information they have from it. So having a strap from New York City is great. You don't need to know exactly where it was used because you just need to know New York. So having a general bigger subject heading is fine. If we have a onion hoe in our collection from a particular museum, or a particular farm rather, we would love to know if we have that farm. We want to know where it was and what else we have related to that farm. Do we have any pictures? So putting it in as that pin drop on the map makes more sense because we'll be able to get more of a visual look of how things are related. And there's endless ways to kind of look around and play with some of this too. So I just did anything that's related to the beach. Oh, I will show you one thing on Fairfield's page that's pretty cool. And some of these we can make more narrow. You can do different shapes and things as well. But you'll see that these are a couple things that we know were on this area over here. One thing that was really cool doing this is we have that archaeological dig. They mapped everything as to where it is or where it was found. You got War Grant artifacts. So part of their project was they came in and we did not accession those items into our collection, but part of their project was to come in and put it into our database so there's access to it and there will be access online. So these are all the records from that. They had just group pictures of things, so we linked whatever was from that group. But if you look at the visualize here and look at the map, a couple things over in Europe, it shows where the things exactly were found in relation to the dig in the town. So this one's an outlier and that's not where the dig happens. So there's probably just a digit switch at some point in the entry from their data because we did kind of a mini migration to it. But you can see there was digging that went on over here and there was a huge part of the dig was over here. And you can see where a lot of the objects were found. And it'll tell you like which thing. If you zoom into that image, it shows exactly what it is in relation to the number. But it's really kind of interesting to see the grouping of that kind of stuff. Specifically to archaeological information, it is frowned upon to put the exact location of dig items out on the public view. They don't want to encourage people coming in and trying to dig up on the same site. And especially if you come over here, this is in neighborhoods. They got permission from the landowners to go and dig in these spots. But we don't want to mark these specifically on the portal because we don't want somebody showing up in like this poor person's backyard going, what can I find? This is really cool. So we were able to fuzz the locations. So when this does go online, it'll show like a generic area. It'll probably show something like this, maybe. I haven't made them public yet. It'll show something like this, but it won't show the exact location. So if somebody's very interested in it in a scholarly level, they can come to us and we'll work with them to give them more data on that. But just as the fact that we found this many things was really kind of cool and just kind of neat to be able to see as an example. Go back here just to the main page. Does this make sense to everybody as far as thinking through how you want to note where something is? I think I had another note for myself. As with anything, when you're cataloging stuff, you want to think about the end user. You want to think about yourself trying to find something, all the way to school kids doing something for History Day and trying to do research. What's going to be the most useful information to them? Going onto that map with all of the lines on everything is really not going to be useful, but being able to sort down through their town, that's going to be more useful to them. And then they can search along with, you know, their topic or a person or something to kind of whittle it down further to see if we have anything for them. So, so being able to pinpoint things is really interesting and see where they're owned. Actually, I'm curious if anybody put in, and this is one of the things that I really try to encourage everybody to use the subject headings, because it's really great for being able to sort out where actual things are. Obviously, we're going to have a lot in Connecticut. These are probably a lot of shoes, because I think I just did shoes that were made somewhere else. But being able to search for places, you can see a couple different options here. We'll see what was in Waterbury. Oh, we can't. Well, sort of. We'll go to the other view because it doesn't automatically pop you out of this view. So this is something related to probably to this gentleman that they're using as a subject heading. So awesome. So it's all about, ooh, there we go. That's a good one. It's all about figuring out what people are going to want to get out of it. I wonder if there's anything map-wise for this. And you can see for all the records, we have 145 objects. Not that many people have put subject headings in or put map locations or subject headings in for this, because you're only getting 10 things. Yeah, we've not even done a lot of it here, just to note that it's something related to Fairfields, which especially with the 250th coming up in a couple of years, people are going to really want to start focusing on, because we all know an institution, probably your own, that has this thing came from the Rev War. This cannonball was in, you know, in the side of a building. So we want to note that it was in this town at the very least. So something to really think about going forward for that, as well as how do you want to do it. But having just something saying Connecticut isn't going to help, but being able to, you know, Connecticut will on some level, but how far can you go that will be useful to people? So do you guys have any questions about this or about anything else?
I have 2 questions.
Yes. You always have great questions.
I don't know about that. So I'm kind of, as you were talking, I was trying to do some of this. And so at the Sloan Museum up on the public portal is an axe head that was found near the building at one point. So I'm like, okay, well, let's tag that. So I'm over in the geography area. First off, the museum comes up, which is great, but it's not in the right spot.
On
It's
your instance or on the
on our instance. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when you kind of blow it up, yep, that's the building, but yet it actually says Sloan Slam Museum, and it's further north than where we are. It's actually more closer to the Antique Machinery Association, which is behind us, which okay, whatever. But yeah, like you were saying, you don't want somebody going digging around trying to find things.
Hmm.
So would it be better to do more of a circle for in this instance? Um, or do more of a pinpoint?
I mean, that's a really good question. See, you always have good questions.
Ah,
That's people going and digging for things are weird sometimes. You can never tell how
yeah,
far they're going with stuff as
exactly.
far as like, I want to find more stuff.
Yeah,
I don't think they think they're going to find buried treasure, but
yeah,
sometimes they just want to go looking for things.
yeah.
Um,
Well, and
so,
plus we're a state archaeological preserve, so we're not supposed to
mm,
be digging around too. So I'm
right,
like, do
right.
I really tag this? Do I not tag this?
I mean,
Um,
honestly, for something like that, I would, is it this guy?
nope, it's over a couple of them over. Nope, one more. Boop, that one.
Oh, okay. I was just seeing like, it looked like just a label. So
Yeah,
yeah. Um,
I need better pictures. I'm working on
No, but you know what?
it.
But you can see it, so it's fine. And I know what it is. It's a mortise axe head, circa
Yeah,
1750, found buried near the building.
there you
I
go.
mean, for something like that, for your guys' information, um, yeah, I would put, and I'm not sure where the note is coming from, the mortise axe head.
Mhm.
I'm pointing like you can see.
I know.
I'm not sure where that note's coming from, if that's coming from part of it. Looks like it's from part of your description.
Yeah,
Um,
it's from the description, and it's from Eric's when they were building the building. I'm sure he
oh,
was
cool.
roofing around and found it. So,
Yeah. Um, so that's something that I would put in the geography notes. I
hmm
would put it, I actually would put it in like a circle kind of just around the building.
yeah,
Um, and then just put it in the notes to say
okay,
that this was actually found. And if
near
you
the
have
building.
more exact stuff, you can
Yeah,
say where it is.
and then because I'm thinking too, you brought up like those that archaeology about how you don't, it's going to be kind of fuzzed out.
Yeah.
How do you do? Is there a way to do that when we're plugging these things in, or is
No,
it something we have to ask?
Seth said it.
Okay. Oh,
It's
but
so anything that's in, let me get a Fairfield 2, one of those records. Um,
so does it have to be like archaeology or something then?
Yeah, if it's
Okay,
in the designated as something, I have to look back at my notes to see exactly what it was.
gotcha. Okay, that makes sense then.
Oh, this is so archaeology. So if it's something that
Yep,
has any of the archaeological data in there,
got it. Okay,
it'll automatically get fuzzed out, I believe. I will go
okay,
back in my notes and double check
okay.
to see.
That's cool.
There's a trigger though, so
Yeah,
it's not like you have to do it, and it's not like we have to tell him every single time. There's like a
right.
trigger for it to be this, I think.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, because I was just thinking like that might be something we want fuzzed out, but yet again, maybe if it's just a big circle, it's okay too. So,
Right, right.
okay.
Yeah, because you may not have anything in the archaeology thing
Yeah, we don't.
because that this page is very specifically
Right,
archaeology focused
right.
with site number, bag number, all of that stuff. So
Exactly. Yep. Okay.
yeah.
All right. I'll just make a circle.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I mean you can do a little one, it's fine. And
Yeah.
it won't be too crazy. So
Yeah. That works. Thank
yeah.
you. There
Yeah.
you
Did you
go.
have another question? Or was it just that one?
Those are the two. Like if
Oh, okay.
something's kind of wrong, like the
Oh, oh,
museum
oh.
has kind of indicated that it's at a somewhat of a wrong location. I'm
Yeah.
not worried about it as much.
Yeah.
But okay,
Yeah, it's not too bad.
that works.
I don't know. Will this show up?
I just did it, so probably not.
Uh, oh, you just did the record. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the putting the place on it. So
Yeah.
tomorrow it'll
There you
show up.
go. I'll look tomorrow.
There you go.
All right. Cool.
Work in
Cool.
progress.
Always.
Always.
Any other questions? Everybody's cataloging happily along. Awesome. Um, so I will not see you next month. Dana and Rebecca will see you next month. um, well, I'll be back at some point. So, or they'll bring me on for a guest spot or something. So they can't get rid of me that easily. So
I like it.
okay.
If
Yeah.
we have questions, Diane,
Mhm.